This famous soccer venue will soon be demolished in the next couple of years. If you're like me, growing up, I didn't really know that countries had domestic leagues where teams will compete for a championship. The EPL, Bundesliga, La Liga, Liga A, and most importantly the Serie A. The list goes on and on, with every team in these leagues having a stadium where fans will congregate. Now in 2010, which was a long time ago for me, I had learned that these countries had domestic leagues. And with that being said, I had chosen the 3 leagues that I would want to follow and the teams that I would want to support. And they were the following: Arsenal in the Premier League, Barcelona in La Liga, and for the sake of the video, AC Milan from the Serie A. So for today's video, I want to focus on AC Milan in Italy. Now picture this with me: Italy, the home of the Roman Colosseum, the Leaning Tower of Pisa, the Trevi Fountain, 4 World Cups, and more importantly, the San Siro, which is the home to both AC Milan and Inter Milan. Earlier this year, I was privileged enough to be able to travel to Italy and visit the San Siro and do a stadium tour of this magnificent venue. This is going to be that experience. The San Siro is officially known as the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza. It has a seating capacity of 75,923 approximately, making it the 4th biggest domestic stadium in all of Europe, behind the Camp Nou, which is home to FC Barcelona, Westfalenstadion, home of Borussia Dortmund in the Great Wall out there, and the Santiago Bernabeu, which is home to Real Madrid, and current Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema. However, as of May 22nd, 2020, demolition was given the green light of the San Siro. It's crazy to think about how a place with so much history will soon be demolished, but for this reason, I'm very grateful that I got to experience this tour and get to go on this experience, and I'm glad I get to kind of share it with y'all. Now, when you approach the stadium, for me, it was a lot bigger than I was anticipating. I've been to stadiums before, but this one was just something insane, where there's just so many pillars. It's such a big venue. Now, starting the tour, you start in the museum, and this museum is the history of the San Siro and both AC Milan and Inter Milan. You get to go there. They have legends who have played for both teams. For me, notably, the one that stood out was Ronaldinho. Growing up, I loved watching Ronaldinho play. So they had a Ronaldinho jersey in showcase. They had Ibrahimovic in showcase, who, for me, was part of the reason that I just loved watching AC Milan. It came down to the fact that I loved like AC Milan in FIFA, and Ibrahimovic was just cracked in the game, and so naturally him and Thiago Silva became the players that I would follow a lot. The same thing when you go up on the upper level, they just have jerseys on jerseys of people who have played there. You have such a history of jerseys that have been up there. For me, I got to see like the old Arsenal jerseys. You get to see all these other cool jerseys. You get to see like Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, had a jersey up there as well. And as you continue to progress, you get to see all the trophies that have been won in the San Siro as well. And obviously the San Siro has been home to a couple of other popular events as well. And so there's a lot of cool facts that you get to learn when you go through this if you're interested in stuff like that. And for me, I was, just because I was so curious about the history of the stadium and both teams. At this point, the tour hasn't even started yet. You're just in there, just vibing. From there, you get to walk in now with your group, and you go into the entrance, which is where you find out the official name of the San Siro. They have a cool plaque, and then you get to walk through the media tunnel. And for me, every time I go through these media tunnels, I always just like to pretend I'm getting interviewed just because I'm a dork like that. But I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And you get to go through the media tunnel. And obviously, as I mentioned, since the San Siro is home to both AC Milan and Inter Milan, these media tunnels will shift depending on who is playing or who is hosting the game that night. But from there, from the media tunnel, you get to go into the locker rooms, which was such a cool experience. The tour guide ended up telling us where Zlatan Ibrahimovic's like seat specifically is. So a lot of us went up there, took the picture of where he sits, and I had to take a picture of the logo just because I had to do it one time for the gram, even though it never saw the light of the gram. But honestly, if you tell 2010 SHADIII that I was able to go on this experience, I think he would be freaking out. But yeah, it was such a surreal experience to be able to go in this locker room and just kind of get to experience that culture as well. After going to the AC Milan locker room, you then get to walk into the Inter Milan locker room and get to experience kind of how their kind of setup is and whatnot. And then from there, you get to walk down the walkway into the field, which was, like I said, some places that I've gone, I think we've done stadium tours, like if there's like a Champions League game or something going on, like you'll hear like the music and whatnot. And so it's always interesting because every stadium experience is very different. And in this case, it was really cool because you go through the tunnel onto the pitch and you go up there and it's just humongous. Like the field was nice, and then just the seating capacity and how many seats you can have, you could definitely tell that this was one of the biggest stadiums in Europe. In this case, getting to walk onto the field, you get to just take it all in. I just like to sit there and just kind of take it all in. And I think a lot of the people that were on the tour with me did the same thing. And then, of course, you have to snag your photos because realistically, if you didn't take a picture, did it happen? Probably not. But yeah, you get to take it all in and you get to kind of tour the different zones of seats and whatnot and everything. And overall, just such a cool experience just getting to see where all the action is played, where do the teams play, and you get to learn about the upkeep of said field and kind of what goes into it. There's lots of like, always like there's cool lights that are like they're putting on the grass and everything like that. Very well maintained, very cool facilities. And then after getting to tour the stadium and look at the field and look at all the seats and get to just kind of take it in as if you're there for a game, you go into one more museum. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this museum was by far probably one of my favorite history museums within the realm of soccer. Specifically, it was because it was the Italian national team's soccer museum out there, which was really cool. You get to see same thing as the first museum you get to go through. You get to see a bunch of jerseys. They have a really cool setup where there's just banners of every World Cup and who was the respected winner of that World Cup. And so it's very cool. And then when Italy won the World Cup or when they made the final, it's a different shade. And then when they win the World Cup, it's a darker shade. And so, like I said, they've won 4. And then this is coming off Italy winning the Euros, and so they had a cool little setup that was for the Euros as well. I walked around, got to do my thing. I got to see one of my favorite World Cup balls. It's I believe it was the 2006 World Cup Jubilee ball in the gold one, and it was just there. You got to see the jerseys of Buffon, Del Piero, all these amazing players who have graced the pitch essentially. And honestly, such a cool place to just kind of sit and soak in as well. If you're a big history buff, you don't even have to be a history buff. Just being able to experience that was just super cool. The people that were on the tour with us, same thing. Everyone was just in awe. We were just taking pictures of everything because of how cool it was. They have a false replica of a World Cup in there as well, which is just super dope too. And seeing as the World Cup is coming up as well, we're now 20 days away from the World Cup as the time of recording this. When this goes out, the World Cup could have started, and it's crazy because Italy is not in it right now. And so lots of history, lots to take in and whatnot. And honestly, I would recommend this experience 10 out of 10. I'm not getting paid to say this as well. Firstly, for me, if you're big into sports, I just love to go on these experiences and get to kind of take it all in and whatnot. And so, yeah, I definitely recommend this experience. Such a fun tour to go on. I believe that their plan is to develop a new stadium after they demolish San Siro, but to be able to go to a place with so much history, get to experience the culture, because I think that the culture of football or soccer across the pond in Europe is completely different than it is consumed here in the United States. Is something always interesting to kind of talk about and whatnot. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I get to go do more stadium tours and take you along with me. But if you like this video, please don't forget to share it, subscribe, show it love, do whatever it is that you want to do. But I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Peace. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.